Hey guys, today I wanted to talk about something that is actually very meaningful to me, and that is about idolization and my experiences with it, and how I basically have been shaped negatively by it myself. As a kid, I had mostly unrestricted internet access, of course, except for when my sister snitched on me and got me in trouble for no reason. I, of course, had idols and people I liked to watch, but barely anything became a problem for me until the birdie drama first started. I think I was like 8 or 9 at the time. Of course, I didn't understand what it all meant. All I knew was that my favorite animator was doing bad things and seemed very unwell and scary to me. Funny enough, they're the reason why the Life Letters meme song gave me nightmares and still does. It was because of their vent using that song. I pretty much didn't understand why they were acting like this, and I was very upset. I wondered if this was just something that happened occasionally, and I hoped that they were okay. I was terrified of them, but still wanted to wish them well. They were a favorite of mine, after all. Little did I know this would keep happening with idols of mine, especially in the old heater period of the gacha community. However, the memories are fuzzy, so I'm sure they weren't that important, and I definitely had the same mindset for those as well. Let's skip to around February of 2020. I had this one idol that I liked, with an O version of Cube from Just Shapes and Beats, whose Ask blog I followed religiously. They opened a Discord server, and I went in it blind to Discord etiquette. Of course, there was a lot of learning there, but still I was happy to meet my idol, who was very kind to me. This is where my reach to other communities started. This is where it went to shit. Over time I got in other servers, got other idols in many communities, started talking with others, and I was soon in a roleplay server by someone I'm call A. At this point I was in many other servers, communities, and had many new idols. Around this time I was also being manipulated by someone I'll call K, which plays into stuff you'll see later. In that roleplay server, besides the whole fallout with the abuser and losing someone I called Mom on Discord, I also ended up experiencing many of my idols being cancelled. Take Emeraltra and a friend of my idols, Lenidally for example. I slowly learned what cancel culture was, had more and more lost, and started to feel hopeless. It was at this point where my thinking kinda shifted. And then that all changed in November when someone close to me in the roleplay server left not only the server, but me as well. In a very messed up state of mind, albeit still recovering from mass manipulation, I also decided to cling on to my idols as much as I could. This started my childish mentality. I was also starting to talk with someone called you and watching WS, so you know how downhill this got. As we make the move from December 2020 to around November 2022, my childish mentality would only get worse, getting meltdown levels of upset whenever I lost another idol, clinging to the ones I had like they were my parents, and overall also changed by you. Being more hipsex than ever, in a very childish state, and also not being able to recover from more trauma that went down with me. Around this time, I made the first video mentioning Rix in it with my sub-child Awk. If you weren't around for that Awk was basically a child version of me that wore the clothes that resembled Rix's. I was desperate for attention, love, and some form of hope. To my surprise, they replied positively, leading me to start making more things featuring them and that same Awk, and even roping you into it, since they were my best friend after all. I genuinely saw Rix as a parent figure, and Moreso included my friend just because I also clung to him as a best friend. Attachment issues. This shifted something in my brain. On top of my separation anxiety, clinginess, attachment and abandonment issues, I now was acting fully like a child, watching Rix's videos religiously and even calling him father. I even made a lore video based on that, which they replied positively to yet again. This would keep going until they would be cancelled. It took me a while to process it, and I was left heartbroken. I shrugged it off as casual on my channel, but really I was going through a roller coaster of emotions. What did I do, you may ask? I clung to a new person, Flaudelandi, and then also clung to so many more, them becoming parent figures in my eyes. There were lots of them, including Bugga, Tweak, Krauva, and a lot more. My issue with calling them parental nicknames got worse, especially if they allowed it. Mama M, Mama T, Crow Mother. The list just goes on into 2023. My main one I clung to though was Flo. As more and more idols got cancelled or left, I got worse. Especially after a fallout with my friend. I got into problematic communities, made my own lore for things, interacted with others' lore, and pretty much started to treat my communities. I was in like a second home. Anytime I was noticed, I would feel mass amounts of euphoria. Every time one left or got canceled, it was a punch to the gut until I couldn't feel it anymore. And then this mentality left my idols and close friends and stretched to full communities that I was in. Didn't matter if I had watched the person's content or not. Didn't matter if they were a favorite or not. I was all for them. I was seeking parental guidance for all the stuff I couldn't process right. And then we go into 2024. The Blue Story community blew up. Many people made many ox, fanner, and content of it. The two I'ma be referring to is S and R. These two got into drama I think about like late 2024. I don't know. I think it might have still been summertime or something like that. But I remember venting about it on my vent channel. It was a scary time for me. Two creators I had gotten attached to on the same level were fighting. I was scared and terrified and pretty much was in a shit state of mind during all of it. If you have seen the impulse posts on my vent channel, you know how bad it got. I felt like I was a child in the middle of a divorce again, except this time my two parents were fighting in front of me, face to face, yelling at the top of their lungs. I know it sounds stupid, but the mentality of clinging to idols like parents and my abandonment issues made this a very scary experience. Overall, I was left in the rut for weeks after. I just decided to try and move on. And then I found the current idol I call father. Oh, throughout all of this, I have kinda thought about my attachment to idols. I'm slowly but surely trying to fix myself, but it's hard when the first instinct is to imprint on them like a baby duck. My idols weren't just celebrities either. There was V, who I lost, my first friend group. I got isolated from, that one idol at the start, people from the games I play that I trauma bond with in the moment, and much more. It has gotten to a point where I can't even think about my adult life anymore because I've spent so much time trying to feel like a loved kid. And now, seeing that I have accidentally found her again on TikTok under a new alias and have gotten attached to them again, and now seeing them fight with another person I also see as an idol, I realize that I need to find a way out of this attachment cycle. I can count it as a parasocial relationship at this point. Even with people I barely watch anymore, when they fight, I just feel awful and like I was there in the heat of the moment. And it's straining. I can't keep doing this. I'm just harming myself over stuff I don't even need to be heard about. Besides, my time to find a good parental figure has run out. My birthday is March 7th. I no longer have that chance anymore to be a loved daughter. I have to accept what happened to me is what happened. And that I just will give my future children the love I looked for but never got. I just wish I found that parental love and had it last. I feel like I have missed out on something that I should have been guaranteed. But I'm searching for it in people who probably don't even care anyways. So I think my search just ends here. I just give up. Idolization, in my eyes, is like a cycle of abuse. You idolize someone whose content you enjoy, you stay with them for a while, and then something happens when you no longer can interact with them anymore, and it drains you. You look for the same thing again, only to repeat that process. Never idolize anyone, because you might just fall into that same cycle. I think those are all my thoughts for now as I finish typing them up. Nothing is scripted, so I genuinely go off my brain, and yeah guys, I'm sorry but my train of thought ends here lol. I may regret this video altogether tomorrow, but for now I'm glad I got out my thoughts and regrets. From now on, yes, these will go on the second channel, but this one was way too important in my eyes to put it on the alt. Who knows, I might take this down and put it there tomorrow lamau. That's all for now guys. Remember to take care of yourselves. Bye bye.